has taken the first step and with that too a bold step with the Belta Forum. Thank you so much. I sincerely appreciate Professor Venkateshwara for his initiatives, bold initiative especially, and connecting the people of no different nations and different states of no India as well as abroad. And see this. Why we do this thing, why is this kind of concept actually these opportunities and challenges and opportunities in the field of English language literature and linguistics. For example, only India alone there are 130 plus 30 crore people are there, and again there are let's say 14 lakhs plus schools are there, and again 100 and see 100. For everything, for anything and everything, we need manpower. That especially no the resourceful manpower. That's what I should say. Especially when it comes to teachers. Why teacher empowerment I was talking about is simply when we empower the teachers and facilitate the learning of the teachers, that will result indirectly and directly in the students' learning, and thereby no we will slowly and gradually create a change in the society, Indian society especially. And once we do, that's what Gandhiji rightly said. We need to be the change in the world. We need to be the change we want to see in this world. And what is possible for ELT especially? I am a linguist. I am a literature guy like this. This Belta Forum believes in bringing all these people together, and thereby we make a unity among the English fraternity. And we are again we are ready to share and care for each other. That's how we grow. United we stand, divided we fall. That's what they say. And so it is a forum for developing better strategies and for classroom management and better teaching of teaching and learning of English language. And we would like to take help from all the nations from the globe, across the globe, thereby bringing in the best of the best speakers to this work, to this audience, and empower them slowly and steadily, gradually. Because I want to say this one more thing: the India can be developed purely because of knowledge economy only. So how this knowledge capital can be enhanced, otherwise developed by say for developed means it is because of this resourceful teachers. Through them we can make an international impact. Otherwise create a huge impact on the society. Why society is like this? Otherwise there is employability crisis. Otherwise, let's say this lockdown, say for example this corona pandemic. Despite the pandemic, because this pandemic is a blessing in disguise, I would say. Otherwise it would not have happened. Otherwise this kind of virtual conferences, seminars, otherwise FDPs would not have become possible. So it is always we need to see the opportunities only. The pessimist is the one who sees look at the negatives and otherwise the flip side of the thing. Whereas the otherwise flaw all the time we look at the negative things. Whereas that St. Joseph Engineering College, has taken a wonderful leap, otherwise a lead in setting as a leader in the field of disseminating knowledge to the teaching fraternity. And I sincerely appreciate the efforts taken by Professor Venkateshwara and the team, the entire team of the management and the principal and the faculty members of St. Joseph Engineering College for their efforts, the wonderful efforts, and need to go a long way in helping out the people, especially teaching community as a whole across the globe. And it's known, as Robert Frost rightly said, woods are lovely, dark and deep, miles to go before I sleep, miles to go before I sleep. With this, we have to go a long way in empowering the individuals, because individuals' excellence and institutional excellence, and thereby global excellence. That is the tag of the World English Language Learners, Teachers, and Trainers Association. So we strongly believe in this. We are striding towards this excellence, and with all your support and goodwill, and we will definitely do our bit for the empowerment of this humanity as a whole. And I'm wishing all the very best for this successful completion of conduct of this 3 days faculty development program. We are ready to support, extend our support from built up conferences, faculty development program, and faculty development program, webinars and seminars, and even in terms of research and development, whatever the support you people, that is the entire participants, the gamut of galaxy of learned and eminent participants, whoever is in need of this help from our forum, we are ready to extend the support. And with that promise, and which means you are all development as well as self-development as well as professional development.
Shivri Rao and our Dean Ma'am, Dr. B. Parvadavardhani, who have encouraged us. I also take this opportunity to thank our in us with their immense knowledge, and most importantly, the participants who have joined us for this 3-day faculty development program. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
We are going to start the session immediately. We had an extended inaugural session. We are going to start the session immediately. We'll take a few minutes. Our speaker, Dr. Praveen Sam from SSN College of Engineering, is with us. We'll start the session immediately. Over to you, Praveen sir.
Thank you, Venkateshwara sir. Do you think the participants will need...
I'll just ask them to introduce you, and then we'll start. I kindly request Manasa to introduce our speaker of the day.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone. Now I would like to invite our resource person, Dr. D. Praveen Sam, sir. Sir has completed his graduation and post-graduation from St. Joseph College, Autonomous, Trichy. He has completed his MPhil from Bharatidasan University, Trichy, and he has also completed his PhD from Anna University, Chennai. He has done a course on CTE and PGDTE from English and Foreign Languages, University, Hyderabad. During his college days, he was the athletic captain of the college and student secretary of the English department. His academic training and about 15 years of experience in English language teaching at different engineering institutions, including Anna University, and 3 years of working experience As an e-learning specialist at Tutors Worldwide India Private Limited, have prepared him to be an effective teacher. His passion lies in content writing, developing asynchronous and synchronous e-learning platform for language teaching learning. He has been recognized as a PhD supervisor of Anna University, Chennai. Currently, he is an assistant professor of English at Assistant College of Engineering Autonomous, Chennai. He is a part of the professional organization called English Language Teachers Association of India, LTI. He is in charge of the online publication division of the association. He is an editor of the journal ELT Practitioners. And to add on, he has published a lot of books and also he has published a lot of international journals. Sir, over to you. Thank you. Praveen, sir.
Thank you, Manasa ma'am, for that
Thank you,
introduction.
sir. Thank you.
The organizers, do you think audience need some time, at least a couple of minutes to because it's there are a lot of information disseminated and they should process the information. If you think they need some time, I can wait for another 5 minutes. The
Sir,
audience
if
can.
it's a pleasure, sir. If you agree, then it's not an issue.
Yeah, I don't have an issue, but audience, no, make them listen too much. We should not put them.
We'll have a 5 minutes break, sir. We'll have a 5 minutes break.
Yeah, can we start after 5 minutes?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Certainly. Sir.
So now the time is 10:42, so we'll start by 10:47.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sir, shall we start then?
Yes, sir. Yes, Praveen, sir.
Thank you, Manasama.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I'll share my screen. Visible to everyone, ma'am? I mean, is the screen visible?
Yeah, sir. It is visible.
Okay,
Yes,
fine.
sir. No, sir.
Your screen is not. Now it is visible, sir.
Yeah,
Now
I'm
it's
showing my
visible,
PowerPoint.
sir.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. So good morning, participants. So I'd like to start the session by appreciating the effort put in by Department of English, St. Joseph's College of Engineering, and Welta in organizing such forums where people can come and discuss their ideas. So I mean, I have titled my session as Teaching Reading at the Tertiary Level. Let us move on. I thought of starting the session with interaction. So I have a few questions. Now, audience, I think you have the option to unmute and speak. So I have a few questions, very simple questions. I thought we should start the discussion and then move on to the presentation. My first question is this: do we read? If yes, you can say yes. No, you can say no. If you don't have a mic or something, you can write on the chat saying yes or no or whatever. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Fine. How much time we spend in a
Yes,
week?
yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, you all read. Good. How much time in a week we spend reading? So there can be people can just like that say no, not an issue. It won't be a disturbance. For example, I read 5 hours every week, so I want okay.
Dedicated time, sir.
You don't have dedicated time. You read all the time. Fine. Sometimes we don't make a note of the time and read. Right? We read. It's not uniform every week. Also, I know. I understand. Okay. What kinds of books or materials do we read? So these questions are. I mean, I wanted to start this session with these questions. I mean, not. I didn't expect an answer from you. I want you people to process and have some kind of an idea about these things in your mind, so that the session will be meaningful to you. The next question I put forward is, what kind of books or materials do we suggest to our students? So as teachers, this is our responsibility to suggest some materials. Anyway, are we really concerned about reading abilities of our students? So this is a very important question. I think we have to ask ourselves. Teaching reading and being concerned about their reading are two different things. So we'll move on to the presentation to see what I have to tell you in terms of reading. The objective of this presentation, I have 4 objectives: to discuss the idea related to teaching reading skills at the tertiary level, to describe 3 different kinds of readers that I've come to experience, to interpret reading from the Indian culture point of view. That's a pretty interesting thing which I'm recently working on. To discuss reading beyond the academic context. So these are some, I mean, I think I'm a little ambitious in having so many objectives for a 1-hour session, but still I'll try to cover as much as possible. Let's move on. So this is a model that I thought of discussing with you. This is called a human factory model of language skills. That's how I designed it. Nothing new in it, but I thought of comparing how language skills work in us, comparing it with a factory. In a factory, how a raw material reaches a factory, and the factory processes it and converts into a finished product, a processed material, and sends out to the world. Likewise, when an information comes to us, we process the information and we try to respond to the information, which is called an output. So in course of this action, we use our skills, language skills. They call language skills. We use reading and listening in course of processing. When to understand the information and to process the information, we read and listen, and to respond to the information, we speak and write. So this is the general model that we all follow in our lives to use language skills in different contexts, both academic and maybe beyond academic, maybe in a general context in our lives. Okay. why should we teach reading to our tertiary level students? Maybe not generally tertiary level. Why should we teach reading in the first place? So if someone can respond to this question, you can respond. I'll wait for some 15 seconds just to, I give you time to process an answer and let me know. Why should we teach reading at the tertiary level,
Because
or why should we
reading
generally teach
needs
reading?
more and more practice, and in the tertiary level, it is more.
Can you please be louder, ma'am? I'm not able to listen. I don't know whether others
Comes to
can hear.
tertiary level.
To correct the pronunciation, we can give reading task at the classroom, sir.
Okay. So you answer you mean to say that you give reading tasks in the class to enhance their pronunciation skills? Okay, fine. But my question is, why should we teach reading in the first place? Anyway, thank you for that response, ma'am. I have a reason. No, research says human brains. A human brain is not naturally programmed to read, whereas speaking and listening, human brain naturally does. For example, when you take a child, it listens to what others speak. Predominantly mothers speak, and it tries to learn the sounds, words, and then it communicates by listening, and it speaks automatically. To speak, any regular teaching is not required. Whereas when it comes to reading and predominantly reading, our mind works differently. Our human brain doesn't naturally start reading. This is the major reason why reading is taught. Maybe in the schools or whatever level it is, we try to teach reading because we are not equipped naturally to read. Another reason is learners need ideas to communicate both in the academic and beyond academic context. I thought I should give this as a reason because most of the time we concentrate only on the academic need of reading skills. But it's only for 4 years. For example, in an engineering context, we teach them only for 4 years. So after 4 years, they have the whole life to live. Career, personal life, different segments. I think reading is one skill which they kind of sometimes they naturally do after their college. For any kind of information accumulation or just to lead a life, people read. So these are the two main reasons in this particular presentation to understand why we teach reading at the tertiary level. Next very important, read only their academic materials, and they read only resources which are connected to their course. For example, a student from EC department, he reads materials parallel to that particular department. He believes that that material will help him achieve success. So they call academic readers. Maybe as far as teachers are concerned in this context, we can try to help them to go beyond their academic context and read something general for their life. That's the role of a teacher in this context. Whereas the third kind of reader or readers, I call them hesitant or reluctant readers. I think I don't have any explanation. I think these pictures will help you understand what kind of readers they are. I don't know, for whatever reason they hate reading. They believe that reading is not going to give them anything. Reading is not a skill at all for them. Even if you force them to read, or maybe in an examination, different kinds of students in our classrooms. Okay, fine. Let's move on. Let us see, what do students read? This is a pretty interesting concept. Academic reading, they read textbooks, reference books, journals, white papers, and teacher notes. These are the ideas that I got from some of my students. I did a survey, and they said in academic context, they read textbooks that we prescribe, reference books, journals, white papers, and teacher notes. Maybe in a general context, they say they read newspaper, magazines, fiction, non-fiction, blogs, this alternate media posts and tweets. Nowadays, I don't know why nowadays people slowly lose faith on this mainstream media, so they have shifted to this alternate media where they believe that they get the right news or right information. So our focus is shifting from the mainstream media to this alternate media posts. Anyway, students feel that they read, these are the general readings. Anyway, uh, okay, I have a point why I made this. I'll come to that a little later. So now I in an object in our culture and reading in India, they eat pizza and other kind of Western food. This is a kind of life we lead. Sometimes this modern or Western culture, it provokes us to do certain things, and I feel it is not wrong to do do that. Fine. Coming to the point, reading is also kind of people read different kinds of text in a country. As our culture is diverse, the reading the idea of reading text is also diverse in the country. People read different kinds of text. But the important thing as teachers, I feel this monitoring reading is an important aspect. Because when I spoke about suggesting materials for our students to read, I think this monitoring reading is a very important strategy that we are supposed to follow. I'll tell you the reason why. I think these are some of the familiar books in our country. This is a Tamil book which is being rewritten in English, translated into English. Meendum Pandiyar Varalaru, and this is a very old book by E.V. Ramasamy Periyar, Ramayanam, a true reading. So these are very, when you stop here, okay, very interesting two books. But the fact is, these two books are banned in India. Information about books that are banned in India. So that's the reason why I focus on this monitoring reading. When you ask your students to learn, read, I think we need to suggest material that are logical enough for them to grow and not just ask them to read, because there are a lot of books which might put them into problems. So that's the reason I brought this monitoring reading as a strategy that teachers can use. Reading, sometimes Indians spend more time reading than anyone else in the world. Then why do we worry about reading? That is again, the reading census says the reading is diminishing in India. The idea of reading, the practice of reading is diminishing in India, and we should do something about it. We should figure out a way to find. But media says this. See, again, a survey. They have taken all these countries and they find Indians are the people who spend more time reading. Sometimes this media material will confuse us, and it will tell us that okay, there's no problem in terms of reading. But I think as teachers, we know the problem our students face because of not reading or not something. They want to have fun, so they read books. I don't know whether it's a positive sign or a negative sign. I want you people to think for yourself. Reading is maybe in this context for fun. Is it okay? Of course, maybe from one point of view, yeah, fine. What is wrong? And maybe even if you read for fun, you learn the language. Or else maybe when you have focused approach towards reading, you learn. Otherwise, if you read for fun, it's not that serious. There are two different schools of thoughts and different ideas. But I think, okay, anyway, I'm happy that reading is happening in our country. Anyway, we'll move on. This is a problem that the idea that and why reading is taught. Every teacher is a reading teacher. Initially, this might look like a stupid idea, but what is a physics teacher doing in a class? What is a chemistry teacher doing in a class? They teach, they give materials for students to read and comprehend. They want students to read the textbooks and answer questions in the exam. And how are we different from them? English teachers. As far as reading is concerned, I'm not blaming everyone, but most of us, we want them to read a passage and answer questions. Teacher who expect the same thing, they have to read the textbook and replicate information in the test. We teach them only, okay, you read a passage, you'll get questions, you answer the questions. Fine, there ends the story. This is reading in our classrooms. Maybe sometimes we have to blame the syllabus because syllabus demands only that. In the question paper format, we'll have the 16th or 15th question will be a reading comprehension passage for 10 marks or 15 marks or whatever. So we try to train our students to answer that question. If we stop and there's no difference between a physics teacher or a chemistry teacher or any other teacher and an English teacher. Okay, let's move on. Okay, sometimes we teachers we get motivated to do research and we do some kind of study, and this is what I'm presenting is one study that I thought would be helpful. What do these office goers read? Okay, we are too much concerned about this classroom, what students read in the class, how reading skills are improved, and etc etc etc, but it is only for 4 years. What do these office goers read? I suddenly one fine morning I got this idea. I started doing a research, and I mean, in course of study, I conducted a survey to get to know what people read. There's also some. I mean, what you see, the graph will, the self-explanatory tells us there are some of them. No, most of them. I surveyed 200 people, and they said most of them they read only newspaper, and some of them read the newspaper and magazine. Some read fiction, some non-fiction, some both fiction and non-fiction, and some say they don't find to read at all because they're very busy. They do a lot of other work and they don't do reading at all. Maybe there are people beyond college, beyond academic context, they don't read at all. So that's one interesting finding. I thought of going beyond this to understand certain things. So I thought, okay, why people read? Read for general learning. They want to gain knowledge. Escaping reality. They feel that reality is very, very tough for them. So when they start reading, they go into their own world. So they escape from the reality for a while. So this is a pretty interesting finding. And some say, okay, they love stories even beyond the academic. After getting into a job, stories are something which they love. So they want to read stories, and maybe that was their point. Relaxing. They say their life is very interesting but little tough. So they want some kind of relaxation. Of course, they have different ways. Some feel even is also a point of relaxation. They read, take a book, sit behind and read. Yeah, they relax for a while. Relaxation is kind of attained by reading as well. This is very interesting. Some people, they read for spiritual enrichment. They get a lot of different genres that talks about religion, God, and other things. So they think, okay, they read that kind of books, and they think because of reading they get spiritual enrichment. Fine. The last is a very interesting point. Some said the physical properties of the book. They read in the sense they buy books, and they like to have a book with them. They always carry a book. They sometimes open and read 2-3 lines in that, and then they feel happy that they have a book with them. For example, a bestseller, they buy the book and keep it with them all the time. And if you go to such people's residence, you'll find a neat drawer or a shelf where they all arrange proper books and keep. I don't know whether they read or not, but they openly tell that, okay, I feel very happy when I have all these books in my house. Whether I read or not, that's a different story. But I feel happy. What is wrong in that? Again, a further study. 39% feel that they read only to gain knowledge and general learning purpose, and 23% feel that they escape reality. They read books to forget their tense lives, stressed life. They read. Some people feel interestingly, 18% of the people feel that they love stories. Spiritual enrichment, relaxation, and physical. They read a lot. I thought this is not a fact. Sometimes when people become great, when they have a book, we quote them. They are good readers. Whether they read or not, we don't know. But some of these facts are interesting. I think this will interest you as well. In an interview with New York Times, Bill Gates said here he reads 50 books every year. In spite of his busy schedule, he finds time to read 50 books every year. So good. I don't think any of us read 50 books every year. Maybe 1 or 2 books maximum. Anyway, the Bill Gates reads 50 books every year. We should, if we have to become great men in life, I think we should follow these people. Elon Musk, I think this is a commonly used name now to talk about science and technology, Tesla and things like that. So he says, he taught himself physics and rocket science by simply reading books. He didn't depend on any formal instruction. He learned all these things. What he's doing now, he has extrapolated that information into a beautiful factory, beautiful industry called Tesla. So he says, he has learned this physics, rocket science, everything. He taught himself by reading books. I think we have to be careful here. If people can read and understand on their own, anyway, pages a day. Anyway, he reads 8 hours a day. That's what he says, he claims. So what I mean to say is reading plays a vital role in our lives. I think we need to make this point clear to our students that okay, reading is a skill that we teach. It has some kind of reading, but for your life to be great in life or to lead a very happy life, or generally if life pushes you in any context, reading is going to be there. You cannot escape reading anytime. So without reading, life is impossible. That's the fact. That's the truth. So I think we need to put this idea in our learners' mind so that they at least they start reading now at the tertiary level, so that they handle life better. Anyway, let's move on. Okay, initiatives. There are a lot of initiatives by people. Even government has a lot of reading projects. Central government has given a lot of funds for reading. These are some interesting. No, Read India Read by Jayanti Somasundaram. She is kind of a person. No, she likes reading, so she wants others also to love reading. So she buys a lot of books, a lot of material, whatever she has. She takes books, she distributes books to all these places. She has a lot of mobile libraries. People can come read. Maybe tomorrow if you come, the library won't be there. So she's doing a lot of work. Very interesting. I think you can browse this name, Jayanti Somasundaram. She has a lot of interesting ideas in terms of developing reading skills of the people. This books on wheel. This is a project by. It's not even one book there in that place. So these people know what they do is they take books to places where there are no books, and they motivate students to people to read. So these are some certain initiatives, and this is the Institute of Reading. During this pandemic, they had some free programs also, but now they charge. But it's worth paying. There are a lot of programs where they teach us how to read. They teach us how to teach reading. I think teachers will have once browse through what we have for us. A lot of get some information from this. Yeah, this is another very interesting readstory.org.in. I accidentally came across this site a couple of years back, and very interestingly, they have books, free books. Just click, you find an icon called books there. Just click on the books. You get books for all levels, right? From school level to tertiary level. A lot of books are there. A lot of interesting stories, starting from rhymes to a lot of interesting moral stories to a lot of different genres of story. I think I once opened it and I wanted to read all this rhymes, the first 100 rhymes, what I learned. I started reading that. I ended up reading some 20-30 materials. Very interesting. I think you'll have to browse this website also. I've given the website here, readingstory.org. You have a lot of different things. You have videos also. The books being discussed to the students. Maybe you can listen to a video and come back to the book and read the book. That's a good strategy. Maybe that will motivate you to read books. Maybe we should orient our students to do this. Interesting called Venture. This is done by Cambridge University Press. This is specific not only for reading, but this is for ELT. So any skill, not only for reading skill, but this particular video, I think you will love it. It talks about in a very simple way how to develop reading skills. Maybe not to teach, maybe for example, I'm a teacher. Okay, I teach reading, but I don't read a lot. I need to develop my reading skills to teach reading skills in the class. If you think, okay, I don't have time, maybe because of the context today, education context system today, I don't have time to read a lot, but I have to teach reading in my class. So how to do that? Maybe I have minimum reading time, but I have to teach reading in the class. I should do some good to my students. I think this venture, so this particular channel, they help us with different ideas that we can incorporate in our classrooms to make students. This is a kind of straightforward approach. They teach us how to teach reading skills in a classroom, how to devise activities, how to go about. I mean, I'm not going to focus on all the strategies best everywhere, which will take you to those strategies. I mean, a very simple video. I think it's a 12-minute video where they talk about more than 5-6 strategies that you people have to look for. Yes, I think I'm done. Normally, I stop presentation of end a present beyond this presentation and know something about reading, or want to talk about reading to someone else, or to discuss reading in a panel discussion or something. You can concentrate on these 3 very important points, like impact of electronic media on reading. Maybe I don't want to go deep into this, but they say electronic media sometimes disturbs your reading habit. I don't know. I think you have to go deep and see if it is true. Next, good and bad strategies of reading. now people, I mean, I think in the introduction, sir spoke about this post method. There's no one fixed method for anything, but still you can classify methods into good and strategies into good and bad strategies. Anyway, you can focus on these things. The last very important point, which is very, very interesting, that when I love is stakeholders' role in developing reading. Not only teachers, how to use parents, how to use other forces, comes out with a rule that only we employ only engineers who have read at least 10 books in last 2 years. If the
So
Yes.
nice to hear. Yes, sir.
yeah, I think I stopped presenting, right? I had to
Yes,
rush
sir.
because I started a little late. I had to stop by 11:15. I took some 10 minutes more. Anyway, so if I have time to answer questions, I can just raise this hand.
Raise your hand. Yes.
Yeah.
How to develop reading. Sir, how to develop reading skills? There's a question that
Yeah, there's
you
a question by
mentioned.
Chandra, sir. How to develop reading skills? Uh, that's a good question. But again, I have to do another presentation to answer that question, to develop reading skills. So there are two ways of saying that. Okay, we talk about reading skill development strategies. The major problem we face is, I think we don't have the habit of reading at all. I think we need to build strategies to enhance the reading, maybe reading method itself. Maybe in a classroom, if generally some 5 to 6 people have the habit of reading, others they don't have the habit at all. I think we need to have strategies for this habit formation of reading. I think that should be the focus. Different ways of developing reading skills, but initially they have to take a book and read, or any access the material online and read. I think that's the need of the hour. Before discussing about reading skill development, reading formation is important. Hope I answered your question. How to create interest in students? Mumtaj. Okay, Mumtaj. Sorry, Mumtaj. Ma'am, I think what I feel is, what I do in the classes, every class, whether it's a reading class or a general language, has laws. So when I talk about the book, no, by seeing me, see, sir is talking too much about the book. Let us give them a format, no, give them a very interesting format or a graphic organizer. Ask them to go to a library and take one particular book and read the book and complete this organizer. It will be an activity approach. They do the activity. In course of doing the activity, they go to the library, they see a lot of books, so that will motivate them to read books. So these are some of the strategies they can use to create interest in our. How do we assess the students' level of reading? Is there any standard? Yeah, we have something called density. That's called it's called lexical density. I mean, I read. What is the lexical density of the passage? We just take a passage from any website. No? We ask them to read. They read and understand. Sometimes they struggle to understand. No? But only when the lexical.
Sir, your voice is not audible, sir.
Is it audible now, ma'am?
Ma'am, sir is audible,
Yes,
ma'am.
sir.
Sir is audible.
It's
Kindly check your
audible.
network, ma'am. Kindly check your network, ma'am.
Kindly check your network.
So, yeah, I was talking about the lexical density. This lexia.com has a portal where if you copy paste a passage or anything, it gives you the lexical density. At least it should be at least more than 750 if you're going to suggest a material to the college level, tertiary level learners. It starts from 50 to 750, maybe in the context. So it measures your passage material and it tells your lexical density is this. It takes many parameters. It has more than 15 parameters to decide the lexical density of any reading material. I think you should refer to that particular website. It's called lexia.com. Other questions? How to develop? Okay, okay, that's fine. How to motivate weak people to read in the class? I think I couldn't read the name. Still, weak students in the class. I think reading can be interestingly taught outside the classroom or not inside the classroom. A classroom can be the flipped model of learning. So maybe reading can happen outside the classroom. Classroom can be the place where they take part in activities which they can do effectively if they read texts outside. So maybe you can create a classroom as a context where they come and participate in activities. They can do well only when they read outside the class. Maybe indirectly you put them in a context where they read and only then they can perform well in the class. So indirectly, initially they start reading and then after a point of time they become addicted to it. They start reading on their own. Let's believe that. Can you please spell the website? It's called Lexia, ma'am. readstory.com. Very old website. Maybe you can Google and find out the website. Just Google, just open a Google page and type lexical density. Automatically, it will take you to this site. So thank you. I hope I answered some of the questions which I could read in the chat. And if there's any other questions, I'm willing to answer. Or else, thank you so much for